really can't say that I'm all that, I don't know, I can't say that I'm all that partial to Alice in some ways, because she she facilitated a Deus Ex Machina ending for the fourth book. I mean, Alice marches in at the last minute, brings in this guy from some South American country to explain away the whole situation that they were in. And I was like, really? Really? This is the way you're going to end this series? Really? I mean, I couldn't believe the whole fourth book. It just blew me away with how weird it was and how different it was from all the others and how it just left a bad taste in my mouth. I had liked the first one alright. I had really loved the second one. I thought it was just beautiful. The third one was really good and kind of made me want for the next book to have more of that tension that the second one had set up and the third one had followed through. I wanted to see the culmination of that tension and see what happened. And then I read the fourth book, and I was really, I'm not going to say disappointed, because I wasn't really disappointed. I just felt sort of like I hadn't really read it. You know, like I totally dismissed it. I was like, no. Especially that ending with Alice bringing the guy in, and it was like, there's not going to be a fight here. The whole series has been leading up to this place where there should be a fight. Like the one place where a fight really made a lot of sense, and that was what needed to happen. And you had these Romanian guys, and they were like, oh, I want to fight. Let's fight. We'll fight no matter what. We're going to fight. We got to get our revenge. And I really loved the Romanian guys, because I was like, well, this harkens back to my affection for Dracula, who is one of two vampires that have superpowers that I know of that are in any way out of the ordinary, which are Drusilla and Dracula. So I was like, yeah, Romanians, they have got to be pretty kickin'. I bet this is going to be the coolest fight I have ever read on the printed page, because you've got Romanians, surely they have some of Dracula's cool super abilities, like turning into bats and turning into fog and being really fast and cool, and I mean, it's got to be interesting. And then I read it, and there was no fight. There was no great big fight with Romanian dudes, and I was like, this is really lame. I am just unhappy with this ending. But, people are scarcely ever happy with endings for books that are quite as popular as Twilight is. And I'm sure a lot of Twilight people agree with me. And yet, at the same time, I also understand people who love the ending. I mean, in a lot of ways, it was beautiful. Because you have the happy family walking off into the sunset, and all the things that they thought were impossible and impractical were coming true for them, and oh, they're so happy. But I just was a little uncomfortable with it. And I was also really uncomfortable with this young girl, Renesmee, which, who names their daughter Renesmee? I mean, that's like the worst name ever. Ever. It's like, I understand why you named her that, but Renesmee? Really? Like, I would understand just Renee Esme, with a hyphen between it. It would have been a bad name, but it would have been logical. Instead, we're going to mash the two names together into one name. The amalgamation of name. Yes. So, Renesmee. I was really a little bit startled by the way that they handled that, because I think that Stephanie Meyer was trying to find a way to close off the Bella Edward Jacob loop. And instead of doing the logical, practical thing and going, Bella, Jacob, Edward, which one of these guys do I want to get rid of? Because, Bella needs to get married and live her life and do this, So I would have understood if she'd just gone, bye-bye, Jacob. And he could have been in the end of Casablanca, and he could have been like, "You're gonna get on this plane, and if you don't, you're gonna regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday and soon and for the rest of your life." If he had just had like a nice speech like that or something, if he had even just quoted Casablanca, it would have been a better ending than marrying him off to this little girl. And yeah, they're not married yet, but like her whole future has been decided for her. That is the most depressing thought that you could possibly have, that this little girl's future, we already know what's going to happen to her. She's going to marry Jacob, and lucky for her, he's immortal, and lucky for her, she's immortal, so that's going to work out great. Just makes me so disgusted. But, I liked Twilight as a franchise, and I still do, or I wouldn't be talking about it today. It's just that ending. Ugh. And I'm not even going to say that I hated the ending, because I didn't hate it. It was just sort of a surprise of the negative sort. I am Mad Scientist, and I thank you all for listening, and have a nice, pleasant night.